Hello folks, we're making this video today at the request of a new player I met today. I didn't realize people actually watch these things. It turns out a few people have seen them, so as long as they're helpful, I'm happy to make them. So this is going to be really just for new players playing Tamer for the first time. I'll try to go over the things that are obvious to a lot of us, so I apologize for those of you that are watching this and know what you're doing, but this is going to go over meta pets in general, the uniqueness of UO Forever offering the different meta pets, how they work, how to get them, and then just a few tips that we use to help us, because they are they are expensive, so you want to make sure you have the appropriate tools to go with them to make sure you don't lose your investment. So I guess first things first, the skills. I see a lot of people asking about the skills, so let's talk about it. Of course, I didn't organize it to make it easier. Always do show reel, obviously, to kick out all that useless information. And so I've got majory, obviously 100 majory. Meditation is so low because I've got you've got to account for whenever you get power scrolls. For those of you who are unfamiliar, skills cap out at 100. A power scroll starting at 105, and you do have to start at the low 105 power scroll, will give you the ability to then raise your cap to 105. You're then able to get 110, 15, and 120 is the final, which they call legendary. So to account for that 20 skill, for the skills that you're going to want to get, they're going to come out of meditation. So I've got meditation. That's the explanation for why meditation is where it is. Animal lure and animal taming, you're going to want to get those to 120, is of course. Veterinary is going to give you the ability to heal your pet with bandages. So keep in mind, in order to heal the pet with bandages, you have to be in range of them. You've got to be within a tile or two. I believe it's one tile. So then you're going to double click the bandage, click the pet. Now I've got that bound to my mouse, my side mouse button. I don't even have to reach to heal, so that's really handy to do that. I've also got all follow bound. I recommend you do that. For those of you who haven't checked out the tool, you'll want to go right, if you just hover over your UO icon here, you'll see the Razer tool comes with it. It comes with the game, and you'll find macros and hotkeys. These are the two areas you'll want to kind of study. They're built in here. They're real user friendly, super easy to use. Just study the menu quickly, and you'll figure out how easy this is to bind. You'll see I just bound it right here. Use bandage, no timer, and I just put that on my mouse button. Pass to UO, set, and you're done. So that's there are definitely more sophisticated heal pet macros out there, where you can continuously heal the pet. You just want to keep an eye on how many bandages you have, which brings us to the counters. The counters are great. That's up here. You can see all of the things I'm tracking here. My regents. Regents allow you to cast magic, of course. Bandages, and then gold. I'm counting gold. All those things are kind of on a dashboard. And then down here, my information bar, I'm keeping an eye on my weight all the time. For the new players that don't know, weight's super important in this game. As you get gold, gold is heavy. It will affect your weight. As you can see here, my weight dropped down to 194. Carrying the gold will then bring your weight up, and if you get too much weight, it's going to stop you from being able to move, which will ultimately get you killed. Of course, if there's monsters around and you can't move, there's a good chance you're going to get killed. So keeping an eye on that weight is kind of integral. Having this information bar up makes it really easy to keep an eye on that. Of course, your stamina bar is also represented here. To check that out, you can just go to Options, Info Bar, bam, Show Info Bar. That's all you have to do. Apply, and you're done. The counters are right here. Super handy. You just enable them. You tell them how many you want. I've got 10 here, 10 by 1, and then how big you want it to be here. All right. And once those pop up, they're actually going to be empty cell shades, but you can just drop an item into the the empty cell to tell it what you want to count. Alright, so that's all handy stuff. I'm not going to make a video for that. I figure maybe we'll make a separate video for other handy things. As far as the other taming skills go, musicmanship is going to be required, and most people will end up taking provocation. I have both of them actually. I've got my provocation to 115, and then I drop it every now and then for peace. At this point in time, I have peace, and I've got that maxed out at peace. For me personally, I do still tame stuff. Just I find it fun, and it's kind of its own weird challenge. So peacemaking does make it a little easier to tame. You don't have to have peacemaking. A lot of people will argue that you can paralyze things just as easily. And you know, there's some truth to that. I paralyze and peacemake, so it definitely does make it easier to paralyze, you know, creatures that are going to attack you while you're trying to tame them. It adds a little bit of a level of complexity to it, of course, because you're going to eventually run out of mana. You may need to heal, that sort of fun stuff. But they're not wrong. You can definitely skip on peace if you don't want it. Peacemaking, however, is going to make the leveling process a lot easier for tamers. You're going to inevitably end up buying taming scrolls to finish out, so that's going to be helpful, of course, but getting that taming skill up fast, I recommend taking peacemaking. And if you're going to tame and you like it to be a little bit easier, if you tame nightmares, for example, night wolves, night bears, those guys, they're really dangerous, just like dragons, really. And so for me personally, I kind of like to take it easy when I'm taming, so peacemaking makes it significantly easier for me. I bind that to F3, and I can just F3, you know, click what I need to, and you can piece them. So as far as peacemaking is going, for you new players, it's important to note you have to have an instrument in your bag, and you need to click it first. That's going to make it so that you don't get the prompt that says which instrument do you want to play in the event that you have more than one in your bag. After having clicked it, you've got really two ways to use peacemaking. You can target the creature or their health bar to target one, or what's also real handy is to target yourself. If you target yourself, you're going to get a small AoE piece, and it's going to stop everything around you from attacking. It's a lot shorter duration when you peacemake this way, but it will give you a brief opportunity to heal yourself, recall out, that sort of thing. So super handy. I use it for that quite a lot. It will save lives. That's peacemaking. Provocation, however, also super handy for making money. When I use provocation, I'll just put it on F3 as well, and obviously that's going to give you the ability to make one target attack a second target. So that's the primary way to use peacemaking. Provocation. A lot of folks, when they're thinking about making bards, will make just a separate bard for provocation. I have one for that purpose. Animal taming and barding together is just a really great combo. People use it a lot on this server in the end game, especially after you already have all the pets, especially if you're not going to be taming for the purpose of taming and selling the creatures. So if you're not into that sort of thing and you really just want to control your own creatures, it's a good idea to consider provocation, because you're going to be able to really get a larger group of targets together to attack each other and ultimately not attack your dragon, to keep your dragon from taking too much damage. So provocation is definitely handy for that. Something to keep in mind though, whenever you are training your dragon, it is a long process. I won't lie. Whenever you train a dragon, if you're provoking a target, the dragon will gain significantly less experience, if any experience. I believe it cancels out the experience altogether if the target is provoked when they die. So that's something to keep in mind. For that reason, I especially because I'm still deep in the neck of training my elder dragon and trying to get him to evolve, I do not use provocation at all when I'm training my dragon. Though it is super handy for champions. Whenever you're doing champ spawns, which produce really great loot and is one of the primary ways to make money in the game, and level in general. It's good to note that you can provoke monsters to get champion score. So if you provoke a monster to attack a second monster, the damage that they're doing to each other does count as champ score points. So keep that in mind, new players. That will definitely help ramp up your champ score whenever you're doing dragons and other pets for champ spawn. So I think that covers kind of the basic skills and whatnot needed for the dragon. So a big resource for the meta pets is going to be the UO Forever forums page that they put together for meta pets, and that's here. So this is going to explain the very important things that you're going to want to have before you get going with your dragon egg. So the dragon eggs, they're going to cost usually around $1 million. Probably more if it's got a hue that's popular. The color definitely will tell you how much that's gonna, or will definitely be an indicator of the price. The meta stone here is super important. This is going to give you the ability to see the stats on your dragon as it levels, the experience that it gets as it levels, how many ability slots it can have, how much taming you need to have in order to control the dragon represented here, and of course the level of the relics. So like the talismans for Dexers, that is melee characters, the dragons and meta steeds will have the ability to add a relic. So in this case, I've got a level 7 dragon, so I've got 4 relics or 4 ability slots that can be added. Now nowadays you can add more relics and simply disable the ones that you're not using. That's a fairly new feature that wasn't always here, so lucky you guys. I actually used to have a different relic that was also max level that would have been nice to be able to disable and swap between. I'm talking of course about the gold relic. The gold relic is an interesting relic. It's controversial. A lot of people don't like it. People like me that used it, leveled it up to 10, might tell you that it's very annoying in the point that it's going to make it difficult for you to fight the really top tier monsters for any period of time, really. So basically what the gold relic is doing is it's giving you a chance to turn whatever the target is into a paragon if that monster has the ability to do that. Some monsters simply don't have paragon forms, but most of them do. And so fighting a demon is usually not that big a deal for a dragon while they're training even, but if it turns into a paragon, that can dramatically change that battle to make it much more involved. You're going to need more bandages to heal your dragon. You're not going to be able to just sit there and watch him kill it in a couple of seconds. It's going to take a few minutes, and it's going to take a lot of paying attention to the health, healing the dragon. So that's why the gold relic is popular to some people, because that can be very helpful. If you use it the right way, it can accelerate the experience gaining process, and I think it did for me. It probably did get me through the leveling faster. At the same time, you could argue that it will ultimately interrupt your farming. You're going to have more places to farm, because inevitably you're going to run into a monster that you'll turn into a paragon. It'll either kill you or you'll have to escape. Either way, I ultimately decided I wasn't into that sort of thing. It just wasn't something that I wanted to have on the dragon all the time, because I did take it to champs and things like that, and especially at a champ where there's not a whole lot of people there to help you, turning things into paragons can really make things messy really fast. So I ultimately decided to take it off of my dragon. I would of course rather have disabled it. The others are all not going to really offer any downside. They're all going to be straight up benefits. Noxious Blood is offering a poison splash effect, which is really neat. It's going to, let's see if we can go ahead and show it off a little bit. We'll show you what it does. I'll take it to the Orc Cave because they take poison damage, and I think that'll be the easiest way to see. Should probably take just gonna stable my horse real quick. For those of you that don't know, you can't have a horse in an Orc Cave. So fun fact, don't take a horse to an Orc Cave. So you'll see all of the relics kind of pop during a fight usually, and I'll let you know which one is going. All guard me really is a better command than all kill. It's going to give you the ability to take tab, and then after you're in war mode, you can simply double click a target to have your dragon attack the target. Now, when it turns white like that, that's Quicksilver proccing. Quicksilver does a couple of things. Obviously, he just kind of Hulk moded real quick and really took out that target really fast with several quick strikes. So it's going to do that. It's also going to reset the stamina for the dragon. So it really does two great things for you, especially if you're in a long fight in a champ spawn. Replenishing that stamina bar is going to help keep the damage going. So that's super handy. Quicksilver is definitely my favorite relic. It levels very quickly as well, because of the fact that it's increasing the attacks of the dragon. That's going to dramatically increase the speed of leveling relative to the other relics. Now, Noxious Blood is going to create a splash of poison. So you can see that this orc has been poisoned, and any monster that was around when he had that poison effect go off would have been affected by that splash. These are mines, by the way, kids, so look out for the mines in the orc field. That is the Molten Breath, so it's going to shoot a beam of fire and then ultimately an AoE splash at the target. And then the last relic we have to talk about is the bleed. You see the bleed ticking there? It'll get stronger as the relic is leveled. Mine's only level 3, it's my newest relic, and it's going to do a good amount of DPS, damage per second, with the bleed. So that's a quick look at experience and the relics, what they look like. If I had to put them in any order, I'd definitely get Quicksilver first. Molten Breath is a lot of fun. Noxious Blood is a lot of fun. The AoEs in general are great for champ spawns. I don't regret getting them first, but Bloody Talons is definitely a solid DPS choice. So I really couldn't argue with it. I mean, getting them in any order you can get them is probably the best way to do it. The only one I would put as a priority, I think, is Quicksilver. I think that's definitely going to be the one I'd get first, and it used to be a lot more expensive. Nowadays you can get them for, I think, around 4 or 5 mil. I paid 9 for mine back in the day, so smile about that. For those of you who don't know, the stabling your pet needs to happen every time you're not using it. You know, a lot of folks hang out at the bank with theirs. That's cool. New players don't do that. You're going to inevitably get your pet stolen. So we'll talk about stealing pets really quickly, just so that everybody is aware. You want to get one of these summoning balls. These pet summoning balls are going to give you the ability to link it to a pet. Mine's linked to my meta pet. You can have more than one summoning ball. A lot of people have one for each of their pets. I'm not a baller like that. I just got the one summoning ball. We now know nowadays that there's a recharging limit to these summoning balls, so that's real important to consider. Each charge is 100 dono. That's what it costs to replenish the charges, and ultimately pull this back. So when you would want to do this, obviously, is if you were to die someplace that you're not confident you can get back to, or you don't have time to get back to. You're gonna want to use the pet summoning ball, when you can get yourself to a stable when you're alive again. The pet's gonna come back as a ghost if it's dead, so you're gonna have to resurrect it once you summon it. You just double click the summoning ball to summon the pet. But I really would not invest in a dragon egg at all unless you can also afford a summoning ball. The nature of this game is, loss is definitely a part of the game, but I wouldn't, losing your meta dragon is just too big of an investment to lose. And so to hedge against that, you want to definitely get yourself a pet summoning ball. You don't want to ever leave your pet out in the wild, without having stabled it. If you're not using it, put it away. You've only got 8 hours before it will go wild. And if the pet goes wild, others can tame it. So if you do that, you run the risk of someone basically attacking the dragon, luring it away to a house which they would have specially designed to have a trap on it. And they're basically a teleporter that's teleporting the pet into a level of their house where the pet can't escape. Unfortunately, that kind of behavior is legal in the game. You have to look out for thieves in general. If you don't know, thieves can steal from you virtually anywhere except for the bank. So you're going to want to keep that in mind, that you're not going to be able to ask for administrator help to recover a stolen dragon if it was done legitimately, as nefarious as that is. So bottom line, don't have the pet out unless you're using it, and then take it to the stable if you do. The pet summoning charges, the last thing to touch on there is you can buy them for 100 dono per charge, but since there is a recharge remaining there limit, you're going to want to consider saving up and getting the bulk recharging powder. And that's going to allow you to buy 20 charges at a time rather than just one. And so doing it that way makes it so that you're only using one of your remaining recharges, rather than having to click it 20 different times, buying the one powder at a time. So just a little tip there. And that vendor, of course, is located in Britain. I'll take you there now. And so you can find all that pet stuff here on the pet vendor. So this pet summoning ball is here. Definitely grab one of those. And then the powder of translocation is the powder used to replenish the pet summoning ball. Don't buy this, guys, unless you really have to. I've done it, but you want to go all the way to the back and see if you can't get the one with 20 charges. So that's going to make that last just a little bit longer for you. Here it is, powder of translocation 20, and that's going to give you a lot more bang for your buck for that summoning ball, and ultimately allow you to keep it just a little bit longer. So I hope this video was useful to you guys, you new players. Taming it's a thing that takes some time, so good on you for trying it. I hope you enjoy it. I definitely had a lot of fun going through the process of leveling my my meta dragon and taking it through the stages. It's a lot of fun. We can run through that real quick for the last part of the video here. You're gonna open your egg. I really wouldn't do it until you level your tamer. Most of us don't have access to a dragon egg until after you do that, but you know, more power to you if you want to, you know, level it as you level taming, then rock and roll. You need 50 taming for the first stage. It's this guy. 60 taming for this guy, and it shows you how much experience it's going to require to push it to the next level. And it's going to evolve automatically. Your screen will flash, and then you will see the pet evolve to the next level. Level 4 here, of course, looks cool like a swamp dragon. Finally take a dragon form at level 5. These are a lot of fun. And then level 6. Level 6 was a great level. Something to keep in mind here that's a lot of fun, between level 6 and 7, whenever you move to the Elder Dragon phase, there's a chance to see your dragon turn into the Mongbat. So I don't know what the chance is. It's not a good one, but I have seen a few of these Mongbats around, and they're definitely very cool, and they increase the value of your dragon big time. Some people prefer them, especially for PvP, because they're a much smaller model. If you're not in love with this model, that's, I guess, another reason to enjoy the Mongbat. I believe it's really just a skin, so it's not necessarily going to influence the power of the dragon. When the dragon goes from stage 7 to stage 8, this is calling it 7.5. Most people call the dragon level 8. In order to make this happen, there's a few new things that come into play. This is fairly new content going from 7 to 8. So the dragon basically needs to roll over at least 2 times before it becomes eligible for dragon fruit. So let's take a look at Drogon's. Let's take a look at his meta stone. And by the way, I don't think you have to have the dragon out to use the relic. I just did that for fun. Looking here at the current progress, this is the progress bar once you've maxed it out to 7. It doesn't indicate to you that there's a level 8. It's kind of a surprise, and this is what people are referring to when they say rollover. My pet has yet to roll over. It's still within the first rollover per se. So I'm just a little bit over 1,000,000 points into 2,000,000. Once I get to 2,000,000 points, my dragon will then quote unquote roll over one time. Now, according to the wiki, and I've definitely seen and confirmed that this is the case, the dragon will then have an opportunity to change some stats, and at the same time calculate your first rollover. Once you have 2 rollovers, you'll be able to start finding dragon fruit on kills. The kills have to be a worthy kill. They need to be something with, I think, 400 health or more. Yeah, here we go, 400 health or more. And once those are slain, you get an opportunity to get dragon fruit. Once you get 4,500 dragon fruit fed to the dragon, and that's an important thing to note, you're not automatically getting the dragon fruit into the dragon. It is a drop. And so you can sell the dragon fruit, and people do sell the dragon fruits. Then once you get enough of those and you feed them to your dragon, then it will turn into this final, what most of us call level 8 form of the dragon. It's important to note this is just a skin, so it's really not going to overly impact the skill of the dragon. It does give you several opportunities to mess with the stats a little bit and get them to a more desirable skills and that sort of thing. But also the rollovers. Each time you do a rollover, you're going to be able to tell because the skill required to control the dragon is going to drop, and so that's going to drop several times until you reach the maximum rollovers. So the most exciting rollover is the second one, so that you can then get enough dragon fruit to push that dragon to level 8. So I hope this video was helpful. Good luck, guys, and good luck on your dragons.